Chapter 51 The Sugar Combination in the Soul Fighting Arena. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ning Rongrong frowned, with a look of contempt and disdain on his face. This is not a battlefield, it's just an academy. Ah, here it comes, the witch's true nature has appeared. Tang Liu rolled his eyes and said secretly, just to avoid getting involved and to prevent Flanders from using him as material to teach Ning Rongrong a lesson. He only revealed to Flanders in the morning that he knew he was going to the Grand Spirit Arena that night. If he had followed him back then, he would now have to face the choice of lying for Ning Rongrong or directly exposing Ning Rongrong. That would be too much trouble and nerve-wracking. So don't get involved. The most important thing is that I have to run 20 laps, so tired. Although he is already a soul sect, he doesn't want to run away even a step. Well, I'm a homebody and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Then things became simple. Ning Rongrong succeeded in surprising a few people, and their impression of her changed greatly, but Ning Rongrong, a little girl, could not be Flanders' opponent, so she quickly fell behind in the confrontation with Flanders. What about Oscar? I must be better than him after all. He is also an auxiliary soul master, and he is just a small food-type soul master. He can't be as good as me. Ning Rongrong said to Flanders before she was a bit unconvinced by belittling him by comparing him with the others present except Tang Liu, but Flanders just told her that Oscar was born with soul power, which shocked her. Impossible, how can an auxiliary martial spirit have full innate soul power? She exclaimed. Well, I am also an auxiliary type, but I am also born with full soul power. Tang Liu silently interjected at this time, making Ning Rongrong doubt life even more. However, since he was a soul master at the age of 12, and the combination of one yellow, one purple, and one black soul ring, Ning Rongrong subconsciously put him out of the comparison range, so it was not that uncomfortable. But the fact that Oscar was born with full soul power still shocked her to the extreme. Soon, she ran away crying, completely defeated. Flanders smiled mysteriously. You see, my mighty golden iron triangle can't cure a little girl. After that, Flanders asked Dai Mubai to call Oscar back. After Dai Mubai came back, he led everyone toward Soto City. Along the way, Tang Liu thought of the innate soul power and couldn't help but fell into deep thought. Not only was he born with full soul power, but he was also born with level 20 super soul power. The Void Spirit Blue Silver Emperor and the Clear Sky Hammer are both top-notch martial souls, but they are not enough to bring him full innate soul power. According to his thoughts before awakening his martial soul, he believed that his martial soul was also one of Blue Silver Grass and Clear Sky Hammer, or it was the same twin martial soul as Tang San. According to his estimation, he has at least a third level of innate soul power. This is only the result if he only has Blue Silver Grass and refers to Tang Wulin. If you add the Clear Sky Hammer, you should be able to reach level 7, in other words, the Clear Sky Hammer can provide him with about level 4 innate soul power, but later, his Blue Silver Grass directly mutated and awakened into the Void Spirit Blue Silver Emperor, giving him about the 5th level of innate soul power. Coupled with the 4th level soul power of the Clear Sky Hammer, his true soul power level should be at the 9th level. From this point of view, his Clear Sky Hammer talent is actually not as good as Tang Hao's, although it is not stated clearly in the original work. Since Tang Hao can become the youngest title Douluo on the mainland, his innate soul power must be at least level 8 or 9, and it is not impossible to have full innate soul power. But in addition to the Void Spirit Blue Silver Emperor and Haotian Hammer, Tang Liu also had the third martial spirit that allowed him to travel through time, Hao Lan Spell. It was this mysterious third martial soul that gave him innate level 20 soul power. Moreover, the system's description of Hao Lan's spell also includes the sentence a powerful and mysterious power from another world, which shows how powerful this martial spirit is. Perhaps, the ability of this Hao Lan spell has yet to be developed. Tang Liu thought to himself, everyone was a soul master above level 20, so they arrived at Soto City very quickly. Flanders took them into a tea house and ordered each of them a cup of the cheapest tea, showing his stingy nature. Then, he began to tell everyone about the content of this first lesson, soul fighting. Soon, the time came, and Flanders led everyone into the great soul fighting arena. After the registration rules were introduced, Tang San, Tang Liu, Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing, who had not registered yet, went to sign up. after filling out the registration form, you have to test your soul power to determine your opponent. However, this is not like the academy test. When the soul power is tested, someone will check to prevent the hidden strength, but Tang Liu also had a way to deal with it. This was also a method he had figured out. The method of using the Haolon mark could store and hide a part of his own soul power, but it was only temporary, but it was enough to cope with the test. The test was completed soon, and his soul power turned out to be level 31, just like Xiao Wu was preparing to find Tang San to sign up for the 2-on-2 competition. Tang Liu also started looking for someone. However, since his tested soul power was level 31, he could only compete with a soul master who was also a soul master. Among them, Dai Mubai was the only one who had reached the soul master level. "Brother Bai, are you interested in signing up with me to participate in the 2-on-2 competition?" Tang Liu touched Dai Mubai and said, "I'm here, and I promise to take you flying." When fighting Zhao Wuji, Tang Liu's supporting ability was obvious to all, and he also wanted to accumulate some points quickly. Participating in 2 versus 2 was a good way. In addition, there were only 2 soul masters here. Tang Liu was alone, so after thinking about it for a while, he agreed. "Let's go and sign up," he said. At the registration office, when the name of the group was reported, Tang Liu suddenly had a twitch in his mind and said, "It's called the White Sugar Group." Dai Mubai. White for white, candy for candy. Confirmed the registration staff. Tang Liu nodded, not giving Dai Mubai a chance to refute. After getting the iron plate with the word white sugar engraved on it to prove their identity, the two left. "Thank you for coming here this morning," Tang Liu said suddenly. Dai Mubai was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, "It's a small matter, you're welcome." Tang Liu patted his arm with the back of his hand, and a blue-black soul ring flashed away under his feet without anyone noticing. "Anyway, you are a good person," he smiled and said. Dai Mubai shook his head helplessly. A battle has begun in the spirit fighting arena over there, and it is Xiao Wu's one-on-one match. Tang Liu and Dai Mubai just caught up with the start of the game. Chapter 52 Tang Liu's one-on-one. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. Which match is ours? Tang Liu asked while watching the match. Right behind Xiao San and Xiao Wu. Dai Mubai replied, however, you are an auxiliary soul master. Are you sure you want to participate in a one-on-one competition? That's right. Tang Liu also signed up for the one-on-one spirit fighting competition, and he happened to be right behind Tang San. Tang Liu nodded and said, I want to give it a try. If I'm not sure, I will admit defeat. Then take care of your own safety. Dai Mubai nodded slightly and said casually concerned, Xiao Wu's opponent was a powerful soul master whose martial soul was the Iron Horn Ox. According to the later description of Shrek Academy's invincibility at the same level, that great soul master was naturally knocked off the competition stage by Xiao Wu in a single encounter. After that, it was the competition between Tang San and Zhu Zhuqing. Brother, be gentle. Dai Mubai came to Tang San at some point, patted his shoulder and whispered. Tang San smiled, nodded to him, and then walked towards the stage below. As for Zhu Zhuqing, when the host read her name, she had already gone down to prepare for the competition. As expected, the control system had already restrained several other series of spirit masters, so the battle between Tang San and Zhu Zhuqing ended quickly, with Tang San winning easily. After completing the one-on-one match, Tang San and Xiao Wu returned to the stands, preparing to participate in the 2-on-2 match after watching Tang Liu's match. The next ones to appear are Tang Liu, a level 31 soul master who possesses the weapon Soul Void Spirit Blue Silver Emperor, and Li Jiaying, a level 36 soul master who possesses the beast martial soul Phantom Snake. As the host's voice sounded, Tang Liu was ready to go to the competition. Xiao Liu, pay attention to safety. Tang San said, his eyes full of encouragement. Tang Liu nodded, and then entered the venue. On stage, the audience was shocked again after being surprised by Xiao Wu and Tang San's ages. Because of Tang Liu's height and childish appearance, some people would definitely believe him if he was said to be 8 years old. Therefore, the audience found it unbelievable that he had the cultivation of Soul Master at such a young age. Tang Liu didn't pay attention to the audience's doubts, but looked at his opponent, a girl who looked 15 or 16 years old. and looked like a student from the Soto City Intermediate Soul Master Academy. "Little brother, how old are you?" After seeing his face, Li Jiaying couldn't help but ask. Tang Liu, who was afraid of being complained about his height, said shamelessly, "I am 9 years old this year, sister." "You are so young, but you have the cultivation level of a soul lord." Li Jiaying looked unbelieving. "Okay, actually I am 12 years old this year, little sister." When it came to soul power cultivation, Tang Liu still told the truth. Although he reported his true age, Li Jiaying was still surprised. 12-year-old soul master. However, she also knew that she was participating in a competition, so she released her martial soul, and 3 soul rings, 1 white, 2 yellow, rose from her feet. At the same time, her already slender figure seemed to become softer, and the skin exposed outside her clothes seemed to have some scales reflecting the light under the light. Phantom Snake is a spirit beast that is good at speed. So this girl should be a spirit master of the agility attack system, that is to say, he is the soul master who is the most restrained in the back row of auxiliary systems like Tang Liu. "Little brother, be careful." Li Jiaying was definitely an innocent girl. Of course, it might be because Tang Liu was so good-looking that she was a little reluctant to do it. When Li Jiaying finished speaking, her 10-year soul ring lit up, and her whole body turned into a faint afterimage and rushed towards Tang Liu. However, Tang Liu's reaction was not slow either. He released his martial spirit when she just opened her mouth. The void spirit blue silver emperor grew out, but the soul rings rising from his feet were 3 yellow ones, and what caused this effect was naturally the result of little Forney who had been hiding in his arms. After seeing his soul ring, the audience no longer had any doubts and exclaimed in surprise. At the same time, several people from Shrek in the stands were also a little surprised. "Xiao San, why did Xiao Lu's soul ring turn into 3 yellow ones?" Xiao Wu was the first to ask. Tang San smiled and explained, "It should be the innate skill of the jade fox that Xiao Lu raised, which concealed the true color of his spirit ring. After all, the ratio of Xiao Lu's spirit rings is really shocking. Isn't it?" This morning, Tang Liu also told Tang San about Xiao Funi's ability to disguise soul rings. Only then did everyone realize. At the same time, on the playing field, Li Jiaying almost came to Tang Liu, and then slapped Tang Liu with her palm. Although he knew Tang Liu's strength, Tang San still felt anxious at this moment. Seeing that Li Jiaying was about to hit Tang Liu, the first and second soul rings on Tang Liu's body flashed one after another. At the same time, he was also rushing forward, as if he was actively facing Li Jiaying's attack, but the audience's doubts and surprise soon disappeared, and they all turned into astonishment, because Tang Liu, who was charging forward, just passed through Li Jiaying's body, and then disappeared into the air. The control of virtual spirits and the concealment of virtual spirits, except for the Shrek people who knew Tang Liu's soul skills, the rest of the audience now looked confused. The audience was confused, and Li Jiaying, the person involved, was even more confused. How did he escape? If I read it correctly, he seemed to have passed through me, right? Moreover, why did such a great living person disappear? However, she soon thought that this situation was probably the effect of Tang Liu's soul skills, so, she instantly activated her third soul skill, Phantom Thorn. She was seen spinning in a circle, and then black spikes shot out in all directions with afterimages. Her response was smart. To deal with a soul master with stealth-type soul skills, if the opponent's position cannot be locked, the most useful way is to use a range attack. However, since Tang Liu is currently in the virtual state of the void spirit control, the effect that the void spirit concealment will be released from the invisible state when attack does not hold true for him. Therefore, even if he is hit by Li Jiaying's phantom stab, he will not show his body, let alone be harmed. In fact, Tang Liu at this moment was only less than 3 meters away from Li Jiaying. After Li Jiaying's attack ended, Tang Liu began to fight back. A numbing blue-green flame pattern appeared above his left eye in an instant. The light flickered, as if the flame was burning and beating. The next moment, the flame beat even more violently, and an invisible spiritual force shot out from his left eye and fell on Li Jiaying. Launch an attack and the concealment effect is removed. Chapter 53: The 2-on-2 Sugar Combination. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. Li Jiaying saw his emerging figure, and when she wanted to attack again, it was already too late. After being hit by that spiritual power, Li Jiaying immediately stayed in place and stopped taking any action. At the same time, her eyes were covered with a layer of lifeless green, and her consciousness fell into the environment. The left eye of the demon eye with a soul bone attached to it, stares in a psychedelic way. The mental power he had cultivated since the 6th year of Tang dynasty was not just for show. Now his mental power was equivalent to that of a 5-ring soul king. It was naturally easier for Li Jiaying, who could not stand up to the Soul King, to fall into a dreamland. However, in order to prevent anyone from seeing that he was using the ability to attach soul bones, when he activated the psychedelic gaze, he also made his 3rd soul ring light up, making the viewers think that he was using it. The 3rd soul skill. After Li Jiaying fell into the illusion, Tang Liu walked to her side without any haste, then patted her lightly and looked at the host. "Can you declare me the winner?" The host was stunned for a second, then announced Tang Liu's victory, and then reminded him to register his points. Tang Liu nodded, and then walked off the competition stage. It was at this time that Li Jiaying escaped from the illusion. Moreover, it was Tang Liu who took the initiative to lift it, otherwise she would be trapped in it forever. When he arrived at the registration office, Tang San, Xiao Wu and Dai Mubai were already waiting for him there. "Xiao Lu, what was your ability that finally made that phantom snake soul master fall into a sluggish state?" As soon as she saw him, Xiao Wu couldn't help but ask. Tang Liu registered first, then motioned for everyone to take a few steps away before answering her in a low voice, "It's a soul bone." "Ah!" The 3 of them exclaimed at the same time. Tang Liu shook his head at them, and then said, "There are many people here. I will tell you in detail when I get back. Now let's prepare for the 2-on-2 match." A few people nodded, and then walked to the 2-on-2 competition area together. Compared to 1-on-1, the audience here is much smaller. When they first arrived at the 2-on-2 arena, Tang San and Xiao Wu were notified and were ready to compete on stage. Their opponents are the twin brothers Tai Long and Tai Hu, whose martial spirits are both iron hammers as described in the original work. The law of invincibility at the same level was once again reflected in Tang San and Xiao Wu. But the Tai brothers' second soul skill caused a lot of trouble for Tang San and Xiao Wu also used sleeve arrows, so Tang San stopped him in time. Although the process was a bit thrilling, their 3-to-5 combination still won. In the end, Xiao Wu helped Tang San, who was injured because he blocked the attack for her, to slowly walk off the competition stage. Tang Liu and Dai Mubai responded quickly, and then used the regeneration effect of the Void Spirit Blue Emperor domain on Tang San. The regeneration effect of Tang Liu's Void Spirit Blue Emperor domain does not have the ability to heal. It only accelerates the body's metabolism, promotes cell division, accelerates the healing of wounds and the like, and also accelerates the recovery of soul power. Although it had no therapeutic effect and could not immediately restore Tang San to his peak state, it relieved his pain to a certain extent and allowed the potentially cracked bones to heal. Tang San was actually fine, just a little weak. He waved his hand, signaling Tang Liu and Dai Mubai to go to the competition, while he himself was supported by Xiao Wu and slowly walked to the viewing area and sat down. The following is the match between our old 50-to-50 combination and the newcomer Beitong combination. What kind of sparks will be created between the old and new teams? Let's wait and see. The host's voice came from far away. After he finished speaking, the 2 teams also came to the competition venue. On the left is the Tang Liu and Dai Mubai duo. One is tall and the other is short, but both have extremely extraordinary looks. On the right is the 50-to-50 combination. They are 2 men with a height of over 1.8 meters, a slender build and similar appearance. He should be around 16 or 17 years old, with ordinary appearance. Han Feng, a level 38 attack type War Soul Master. Han Yu, a level 38 control type War Soul Master. As soon as they got on stage, the 2 people started talking. Tang Liu secretly cursed in his heart, "Are they twins again? I wonder if there will be martial soul fusion skills." After Dai Mubai was stunned for a short time, he also said, "Dai Mubai, the 37th level attack type Battle Soul Master." Tang Liu followed closely. Tang Liu, 30 level auxiliary weapon Soul Master. After being named, the 4 of them released their martial spirits almost at the same time. The martial spirits of Han Feng and Han Yu are a bit strange. They are actually wind elements and water elements. They are relatively powerful martial spirits, and the spirit rings are also the best combination of 2 yellow and 1 purple. Tang Liu's intuition told him that these should be 2 formidable opponents. Moreover, the opponent has the best combination of control and strong attack. Tang Liu still had those 300-year spirit rings on his body, and he seemed to be the weakest in the entire arena. The first person to take action was the opponent's 50-50 combination. The first soul rings on their bodies lit up almost at the same time. The next moment, a strong wind blew on the competition stage, and the air was also a lot moister. Cold Wind's first soul skill, Wind Comes. Han Yu's first soul skill is Chao Gathering. Sensing the changes around him, Tang Liu thought that they should create a fighting venue that was most suitable for them, so, he no longer waited and said to Dai Mubai next to him, "Brother Bai, White Tiger's fierce light wave, beat that cold wind." Hearing this, Dai Mubai's second soul ring lit up, and then a strong white light spurted out from his mouth and went towards the cold wind. Just when the White Tiger's fierce light wave was about to hit the cold wind, the cold rain also moved. The second soul skill is Tide Convergence. It is also the second soul skill. The moisture in the air quickly gathered in front of the cold wind, and finally condensed a water shield. The water shield is not big, but it can just block the White Tiger's fierce light wave. Seeing that the water shield was about to block the White Tiger's powerful light wave, Han Yu couldn't help but reveal a smile on his face, but at the next moment, Han Yu's smile solidified, because the White Tiger's fierce light wave seemed to pass through the air, penetrated the water shield, and continued to move towards the cold wind. Dai Mubai's left arm was wrapped with a circle of ethereal blue-silver emperor vines. It is the effect of the control of the virtual spirit. Although he was about to be attacked, Han Feng remained calm, and the third and second soul rings on his body lit up one after another. The third soul skill, the gentle breeze accompanying you. The second soul skill, Wind Knife. The strong wind blowing from the field gathered in 2 places under the effect of the cold wind soul skill. One of them was his own body. He was actually pushed out of the attack range of the White Tiger's powerful light wave just before it arrived. At another place, a tornado formed around Tang Liu, containing countless wind knives with extremely strong cutting capabilities. Chapter 54 Victory. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. The moment Tang Liu felt the wind direction change in the field, he activated his soul skill. First, he imposed a phantom guard on himself to protect himself from the attack of the wind knife. Secondly, he applied the void spirit concealment to Dai Mubai, allowing him to enter a state of invisibility. Without the need for words, Dai Mubai rushed out the moment void spirit hide took effect, quickly rushing towards Han Feng and Han Yu. Seeing Dai Mubai disappear out of thin air, both Han Feng and Han Yu's pupils shrank, but as a control soul master, Han Yu quickly took action. The second and third soul rings lit up one after another. The tide caused the water elements on the competition stage to spread around them, like a smooth lake. If Dai Mubai enters this range, it will produce ripples like a stone falling into water. The third soul skill, Whirlpool Swamp, makes these water elements become extremely condensed, making it difficult to walk like a swamp. At the same time, because these water elements are constantly rotating, they will generate strong pulling force, making it even more difficult for people to move. Seeing this, Tang Liu's pupils immediately shrank. Sure enough, these two are very strong. At this moment, he no longer just stood still, walking on the ghostly shadow and escaping from the scope of the wind knife. Although under the control of the cold wind, the wind knife still pursued Tang Liu, but it was temporarily unable to attack Tang Liu. Therefore, Tang Liu, who had no worries, attached the void spirit control to Dai Mubai. Han Yu's skills could no longer touch Dai Mubai, and the difficulty of moving in the swamp and the suction force of the vortex were no longer effective. Dai Mubai, who was still waiting for an opportunity outside the range of Han Yu's skills, rushed in at this moment and was in front of Han Yu in an instant. White Tiger Protective Barrier. White Tiger Vajra Transformation activates. After the 2 major amplification skills were released, the effect of the void spirit's hide on him was also lifted, but, having arrived in front of Han Yu, he no longer needed to hide. After seeing Han Yu looking at him, he immediately spit out the White Tiger fierce light wave. Han Yu's expression changed, and in a hurry, he just let some of the surrounding water elements gather on his body to form a layer of defense. However, the White Tiger's fierce light wave after the 2 major soul skills were amplified could not be prevented so easily. Han Yu was instantly knocked away by the White Tiger's fierce light wave and fell outside the competition stage. This was the result of Dai Mubai's restraint. Otherwise the White Tiger's fierce light wave would not have pushed Han Yu away, but would have directly opened a hole in his body. After dealing with the cold rain, the water element above the competition stage immediately dispersed, but it still made the surrounding air a little moist. After Han Feng saw Han Yu being knocked away, his expression changed drastically. The 3 soul rings on his body flashed alternately, and he and Dai Mubai saw a fierce wind blowing. At the same time, the strong winds turned into countless wind knives and struck at Dai Mubai with great power. However, Dai Mubai still has the effect of the void spirit control, so these winds cannot touch him at all and have no effect on him. He arrived in front of Han Feng in a few steps, and the tiger's palm swung at him with a gust of evil wind, but Han Feng's expression was calm, and his 3rd soul ring lit up again, taking him away from Dai Mubai's attack range again, allowing him to avoid Dai Mubai's attack again. As soon as he dodged, he ran towards Tang Liu on the other side without hesitation. He could see that his attacks were now ineffective against Dai Mubai because of the existence of Tang Liu, an auxiliary soul master. As long as Tang Liu is dealt with first, then with the wind element, Dai Mubai will definitely not be his opponent. Seeing the cold wind rushing towards him at an extremely fast speed, Tang Liu was also startled. At the same time, he also felt that he was being blown by a strong wind in the direction of the cold wind. Naturally, he understood in his heart that this was the effect of the other party's control of the wind, so, he released the control of the ethereal spirit on himself, and his whole body was no longer affected by the wind. Then came the hiding place of the virtual spirit, and the figure disappeared directly in front of the cold wind. After releasing 2 soul skills one after another, Tang Liu ran against the cold wind, wanting to meet up with Dai Mubai. Now that he has the control of the void spirit, he is not afraid of the cold wind attack, but the previous battle also allowed Han Feng to figure out that Tang Liu's void spirit control could only be applied to one person at a time, so after seeing Tang Liu disappear, he immediately controlled the wind to attack Dai Mubai behind him. Go, attack the enemy and save him. Sure enough, after feeling that the cold wind's attack was strong enough to cause damage to Dai Mubai, Tang Liu attached the void spirit control to Dai Mubai again. He no longer had the control of the ethereal spirit, and was immediately affected by the cold wind skill again, and the concealment effect was lifted again. At this time, he was only 3 meters away from the cold wind. After seeing him reveal himself, Han Feng did not hesitate to mobilize part of the wind element to attack him. At the same time, the strong wind that enveloped Dai Mubai was not cancelled by him, just to prevent Tang Liu from using the void spirit control to avoid it again. Using the wind element so intensely, Han Feng's expression also turned pale, and his soul power was greatly consumed. However, as long as Tang Liu can be dealt with, it will all be worth it. Tang Liu shook his head gently and sighed secretly. Sure enough, there are hidden dragons and crouching tigers everywhere here, so we can't take it lightly. So, just when he was about to be attacked by the cold wind, his 3rd soul ring lit up. The 3rd soul skill, the protection of virtual spirits. Brother by White Tiger Fierce Light Wave. While activating the skill, he also shouted to Dai Mubai. The next second after he finished shouting, flame patterns appeared on his left eye, and his psychedelic gaze was released. The cold wind, which was extremely close to him, instantly entered the illusion, and his forward movement was immediately stopped. At this time, Dai Mubai heard Tang Liu's shout and launched the White Tiger Fierce Light Wave, which also hit Han Feng and pushed him away towards Tang Liu. At the same time, the cold wind's attack also fell on Tang Liu, but due to the effect of the ethereal protection, it was unable to cause any damage to Tang Liu at all. Seeing that Han Feng and Dai Mubai's White Tiger Fiery Light Wave were about to hit him, Tang Liu calmly added a void spirit control to himself, and just watched as Han Feng and White Tiger Fierce Light Wave passed through him. Body of, taking a step to the side, Tang Liu saw Han Feng being directly pushed off the competition stage by the White Tiger's Fierce Light Wave. As for the attack against Dai Mubai, it was lifted the moment Han Feng fell into the illusion. The remaining power was something Dai Mubai could easily defend against, so Tang Liu reattached the void spirit control. Withdrawing their martial spirits, Tang Liu and Dai Mubai came together. After confirming that the other party was okay, they gave a high five to celebrate. I told you I would take you flying, Tang Liu said with a smile. The main attack depends on me. Dai Mubai also smiled, and then took out a new piece of clothing to cover the upper body exposed due to the white tiger Vajra transformation. Chapter 55 Return to College. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. After the host announced the victory, the two went down and prepared to register the points. Xiao Lu, you guys played really well in this game. As soon as the performance was over, Tang San and Xiao Wu came over to congratulate them. That sentence before was exactly what Xiao Wu said. There are still many shortcomings. For example, when Brother Bai launched an attack on them, I should have rushed up with him. After all, I am an auxiliary system and do not have high combat effectiveness. If there is no protection from the battle spirit master, I will fall into a very passive situation, just like the situation when I was attacked by the cold wind when Brother Bai and I were separated. If I had been by Brother Bai's side all the time, then the situation would not be as passive as before, and this game would also be over. Faster. Tang Liu smiled and pointed out his mistakes in this competition. Don't worry, we will fight together from now on, and it is basically impossible for this situation to happen. Tang San comforted. The Dean asked us to participate in this soul fighting competition just to hone our actual combat abilities. As the number of competitions increases, the possibility of mistakes will become smaller. Let's go and register the points first. Dai Mubai smiled slightly, several people nodded and then left together. After registering the points and receiving the rewards, everyone looked happy because they had earned a lot of gold soul coins. Under the leadership of Dai Mubai, several people walked out of the great soul fighting arena and prepared to return to the academy. However, because of Ma Hongjun, a guy who has no vision, Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing had a quarrel, of course. Dai Mubai was actually angry unilaterally, while Zhu Zhuqing still looked cold, and no one could see what she was thinking. Because of the Cold War between Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing, the atmosphere on the way back became quite tense. Tang Liu looked at Dai Mubai and Zhu Zhuqing, who were not far apart in front but ignored each other, and said with a click of his tongue, "Obviously we are childhood sweethearts, but now we are pretending not to know each other. After all, this is a royal dispute." After hearing what he said, Tang San and Xiao Wu both looked over curiously. "Xiao Lu, do you know what happened between them?" Xiao Wu asked, eyes burning with gossip. Tang San touched her head helplessly and said, This is my private matter, don't be so curious." "That's right, let's not get involved in the conflicts between young couples, hee." Tang Liu said with a smile. Xiao Wu snorted, "If you don't want to say it, don't say it." Then she jumped a few steps forward, widening the distance between Tang San and Tang Liu, as if she didn't want to talk to them. Tang Liu approached his elder brother at this time, and then whispered to him, "Brother, you have to keep working hard. Whether my future sister-in-law is found will depend on your performance." Tang San actually blushed at what he said, knocked him hard, and cursed in a low voice, "Fuck you, what are you thinking about all day long?" However, when he said this, Tang San couldn't help but keep his eyes drifting towards Xiao Wu in front of him. He. Tang San's little movements naturally couldn't escape Tang Liu's eyes, so he ran away with a smirk, avoiding Tang San's hand that wanted to continue hitting him. Soon, everyone returned to the academy. I saw two figures sitting quietly in the moonlight in front of the gate of Shrek Academy. One is Ning Rongrong, whose mood has returned to normal, and the other is Oscar, who is looking at her with a complicated expression. The first one to arrive was Zhu Zhuqing. She walked into the academy without looking back as if she hadn't seen the two of them. The second one is Dai Mubai. After all, they are classmates, and he is not as cold as Zhu Zhuqing, so he still looked at Ning Rongrong and said, "What are you doing here?" Ning Rongrong jumped down from the big rock under her and said, "Of course I'm waiting for you. Why did you come back so late? Where are the dean and the fat man?" Dai Mubai replied coldly, "They have something to do." "Have you figured it out, stay or leave?" Ning Rongrong said without hesitation, "Of course I'll stay. How can I just leave such a fun place? Also, what's your expression, are you a zombie? Did you get shriveled in Zhuqing again? It's a shame that Oscar said you were a master of love, but in the end you couldn't even handle a little girl." Ning Rongrong, whose true nature was exposed, simply stopped hiding it and laughed at Dai Mubai mercilessly. Therefore, the evil-eyed white tiger, who was already angry, immediately took action against Ning Rongrong. After a few words, a simple surge of soul power shocked Ning Rongrong far away. Fortunately, Oscar caught Ning Rongrong in time, and Tang San took action in time to stop Dai Mubai's spirit power, which saved Ning Rongrong from being injured. "Mubai, we are all classmates, forget it," Tang San advised. "That's right, Brother Bai, what do you, a dignified man, and an idiot little girl have to argue with? Let's go, let's go." Tang Liu was not afraid of the angry evil-eyed white tiger at all. He walked up and pushed his back. Pushed him into the academy. "Humph, Ning Rongrong, let's forget it for the sake of Xiao San and Xiao Lu today. But remember, this is not your home. Don't provoke me again. Otherwise, I don't care what your status is." Before leaving, Dai Mubai did not forget to warn him like this, not caring at all about Ning Rongrong's pitiful appearance, who was about to cry. After pushing Dai Mubai away, Tang Liu came back, then pulled Tang San up to prepare to go back to the dormitory. "Let's go, brother." As he spoke, he used the Void Spirit Blue Emperor domain to regulate the surging aura within Tang San's body. After all, Dai Mubai's outburst was not easy to handle, not to mention he was injured. "Tang San, but at this time, Ning Rongrong suddenly called out to Tang San, who had turned to leave with Tang Liu Xiaowu. Tang San turned around and asked, "What's the matter?" Ning Rongrong held back the tears in her eyes and said fiercely, "Kill him for me, use your strange weapons. As long as you help me kill him, you will be a distinguished guest of our Qibao glazed sect from now on. I will give you how about your money, 10,000 gold soul coins. And the unconditional support of the Qibao glazed sect in the future." But just as she finished speaking, Tang Liu stood up and mocked, "Come on, Ning Rongrong, do you really think your 7 treasures glazed sect is great? Others care about your 7 treasures glazed sect support, but we don't care. Don't forget, you are not the number 1 sect among the 3 upper sections. Moreover, what you say, an idiot girl like you, can represent the 7 treasures glazed sect. Don't have such wishful thinking, this is Shrek Academy. This is not your Qibao glazed sect, no one will let you do anything anymore. If you really want to integrate into a group, then please lower your ridiculous attitude first." After saying that, without giving Ning Rongrong a chance to refute, he took Tang San and Xiao Wu away. Chapter 56 Tang San exposed certain attributes. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ning Rongrong's expression is still dull, with a look of disbelief. After a moment, she looked at Oscar again. "Oscar, are you willing to help me?" "No." Oscar shook his head. "Why, don't you like me?" Ning Rongrong's eyes widened and she said in disbelief. There was a hint of disappointment in Oscar's eyes, "I'm just a food-type soul master. Moreover, I liked the approachable, gentle and beautiful Ning Rongrong before, not the current unruly and arrogant Miss Qibao glazed sect. I can be Ning Rongrong's lover, can pursue her regardless of the status gap. But I cannot and will never be the servant of the eldest lady of the Qibao glazed sect. I have figured it out. The eldest lady of the Qibao glazed sect is not the tree that can make me give up the entire forest. I can't give up everything for a tree I don't like. I am willing to help the eldest lady of the Qibao glazed sect. There are many people, and I should be the best. So, I'm sorry. Besides, Tang Liu is right, if you really want to find a partner you can be close to, let go of the arrogance of the eldest lady of the Qibao glazed sect. Otherwise, friends can only become a luxury for you." After saying that, he took a deep look at Ning Rongrong and then left. Ning Rongrong was alone under the moonlight and lost her mind. Only tears kept falling, only panic kept spreading in my heart. It was like the darkness gradually approaching due to the disappearance of the moonlight, as if it was about to swallow her up. Another night passed. In the early morning, after Tang Liu and Tang San finished practicing the purple demon eyes together, they went to the cafeteria together to prepare for breakfast. After they finished eating, Dai Mubai came to the cafeteria, but his expression was still gloomy. Then Xiao Wu appeared, and finally Zhu Zhuqing and Ma Hongjun, neither Oscar nor Ning Rongrong appeared in the cafeteria. "Fat man, why don't you go out tonight?" After breakfast, Dai Mubai suddenly spoke. Ma Hongjun nodded. "The evil fire was almost released yesterday. I probably won't go out for the next 2 days." "Okay, you stay in the dormitory tonight, and I want to go out to find the twins from last time." Dai Mubai said. The fat man's eyes lit up. "Boss Dai, you eat meat, can you leave some soup for me?" Dai Mu rolled his eyes at him and said angrily, "This kind of thing requires your consent to make me happy. It's not sweet to force yourself." As he said that, he deliberately glanced at Zhu Zhuqing. It's just that Zhu Zhuqing still didn't respond, so he couldn't help but feel a little angry. Tang Liu clicked his tongue and shook his head, feeling as if he were watching an idle drama. Playing hard to get is good, but people obviously don't want to lay eggs on you because of your romantic virtues. If you still say that now, wouldn't it be counterproductive? He muttered deliberately, not loudly, but just enough for Dai Mubai to hear. Dai Mubai felt himself being choked, and the pupils in his eyes turned into one. He glared at Tang Liu and said angrily, "Little brat, what do you know?" Hearing this, Tang Liu suddenly pulled Tang San, looking aggrieved. "Brother, that uncle over there bullied me." Tang San. Dai Mubai. Seeing their speechless expressions, Tang Liu burst out laughing. "What, didn't you call me a brat? I think you may not have experienced the terror of naughty children, so I'll give you a favor to let you experience it. For a moment, Uncle Bai." With his tender face and height, calling Dai Mubai uncle seemed to have some meaning. Xiao Wu immediately laughed out loud without losing face. Dai Mubai stared at Tang Liu, speechless. Tang Liu shook his head and said with a smile, "Uncle, you can't beat me, Tang Xiaolu, even with your current bear-like appearance. As a mortal, you must have the consciousness to be immortal. Not only are you not the strongest, you can't even speak neither is strong." Hearing this, Xiao Wu smiled even more happily and patted Tang Liu on the shoulder. "Xiao Lu, I really belong to you." Ma Hongjun also laughed regardless of Dai Mubai's angry look, and even Tang San couldn't help but raise the corners of his lips. "I'm full." At this time, Zhu Zhuqing put down the bowl in his hand, then stood up and left. Dai Mubai's eyes fell on her when she spoke. Naturally, he also saw the startling glance she gave him when she turned around, and the faint smile on her lips. In an instant, Dai Mubai felt that even if he was laughed at, it was worth it. After Zhu Zhuqing walked away, Dai Mubai immediately looked at Tang Liu and said, "Xiao Lu, from now on we are brothers. If you need anything, just ask." Now that it's come to this point, he still doesn't understand that Tang Liu's antics before were just to help him. "I can't help it. You two really make me a little anxious," Tang Liu said with a look of disgust. At this time, Dai Mubai leaned towards Tang Liu with a mysterious look on his face, and then whispered, "Xiao Lu, you seem to be very good at emotions. Can you teach me 2 moves?" Tang Liu looked proud. That's right. After all, he was a person who had been baptized by countless TV series. Moreover, don't you know that the love advice given by singles has a legal bonus? Tang San pushed Dai Mubai away and said angrily, "Don't teach my brother a bad lesson." "That's right, we Xiao Lu can't be like you. Right?" Xiao Wu naturally looked at Tang Liu and said the last 2 words. Tang Liu had an awe-inspiring look on his face and nodded repeatedly, "That's right." Although as a single man for more than 20 years, it would be a lie if Tang Liu didn't envy Dai Mubai. However, he must behave better in front of his future sister-in-law, otherwise, what if my future sister-in-law's impression of my brother becomes worse due to my own fault? "Hey, Xiao San, what's the relationship between us?" "Your brother, isn't he my brother?" Dai Mubai bumped Tang San with his elbow and said with a slightly flattering look. Yes, Xiao Lu, you can teach me 2 moves anytime." Ma Hongjuan's eyes were shining at the side. "That's enough of you. Xiao Lu, you have to stay away from this group of people from now on." Tang San's face darkened. He said a serious word to Tang Liu, and then immediately pulled him and Xiao Wu away. "Hey, mistress, don't leave in such a hurry, I'm serious." Dai Mubai said and hurriedly chased after him. Ma Hongjun followed closely behind him. Xiao Lu, I am your brother. Go to hell with those coquettish bitches outside who want to steal my brother. On the way to the playground, Tang San suddenly said to Tang Liu, with a bit of nervousness in his eyes, Tang Liu. He looked at Tang San with disbelief. I misjudged you. I didn't expect you, a guy with thick eyebrows and big eyes. He is actually still a younger brother. Chapter 57 Oscar Level 30. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. However, although he is a little depressed, he still needs to pay attention to comforting his mood. Well, I know, I only have one brother like you. The kind that are related by blood, or twins. Tang Liu turned his face away and said expressionlessly. Tang San seemed to be relieved, his expression returned to normal. By the way, brother, you're not afraid. Tang Liu suddenly lowered his voice, and then lightly glanced at Xiao Wu, who was walking slightly in front of them. Well, what are you afraid of? Tang San was a little confused. Tang Liu, that's right, aren't you afraid of Xiao Wu getting jealous? Tang San looked confused. Jealous? What are you jealous of? What are you jealous of? What are you jealous of? Tang Liu. Forget it, you will slowly start to understand when you get to the Star Dou forest tomorrow. What are you two muttering about? At this moment, Xiao Wu in front suddenly turned around and looked at them curiously. She seemed to hear Tang San say he wanted to eat something. It's nothing, it's just that my brother said he was overjoyed, Tang Liu blurted out, but Tang San even covered his mouth. It's okay, I didn't say anything. Tang San quickly explained, feeling a little red for no reason. Xiao Wu blinked her big beautiful eyes, said oh, then turned around and ignored them. Tang San breathed a sigh of relief, then glared at Tang Liu angrily. Tang Liu looked innocent, thinking to himself, I am helping you, brother. Soon, everyone gathered on the playground as the bell rang for class. However, when they arrived, they found someone already standing on the playground. Who else could it be if it wasn't Ning Rongrong? However, her face looked a little bad, as if she hadn't slept all night, and her eyes were red. She probably cried a lot. They stood on the playground for a full quarter of an hour before Flanders walked over slowly. He first glanced at Ning Rongrong, but didn't say anything. He then scanned the other people one by one, and finally frowned and said, Where is Oscar? Is he sleeping in again? That since no one is in the same dormitory as Oscar, no one except Tang Liu knows what Oscar is doing now, but Tang Liu didn't plan to say anything, because Oscar would be here soon anyway. Today's class can't be done without him. Mubai, go and call him over now. Flender said. Yes. Dai Mubai responded. Just when he was about to leave, he saw Oscar running over in a hurry. Oscar, do you want to run again? Flanders looked at Oscar, who was full of excitement and felt very angry. Oscar shook his head quickly and said, No, Dean, please listen to my explanation. I have made a breakthrough, I have reached level 30. What? Flanders said in surprise. Except for Tang Liu, everyone else also cast surprised glances at Oscar. Okay, Oscar, you did not disappoint me. You are the third among all students to reach level 30. I congratulate you on behalf of the Academy. Congratulations. Although you reached level 30 much later than me, as a food-type soul master, you are already the most outstanding genius I have ever seen. Could it be said that falling out of love can help a soul master break through? Dai Mubai walked over, patted his shoulder, and smiled. Oscar glared at Dai Mubai with some embarrassment, then looked at Ning Rongrong, whose eyes were red, and said with a wry smile, I haven't been in love yet, where did the lovelorn come from? Stop making fun of me. Tang San, Xiao Wu, Tang Liu and Ma Hongjun also stepped forward to congratulate. Ning Rongrong stood there without moving, and Zhu Zhuqing also lowered his head, not knowing what he was thinking. Okay, today's class begins now. Flanders spoke again at this time. Today's class is very simple, that is, except Oscar, each of you must eat 2 kinds of food created by Oscar's soul power. At least 1 sausage. What? Xiao Wu couldn't help but asked, Dean, what is this class called? Hey, although Uncle Sausage's soul curse is a bit obscene, the auxiliary effect is really good. You will know after eating it. Moreover, this is really just grilled sausage. Tang Liu spoke out first, and then asked Oscar said, Uncle, one big recovery sausage and one small detoxification sausage. Do you want to charge me? Just accept the money, but I'm really not an uncle. Didn't you see that I shaved off my beard? Oscar said helplessly, but he still made 2 sausages for Tang Liu. Oh, okay uncle. Tang Liu took it and said. Stop calling me uncle. Okay uncle, no problem uncle. Oscar. Seeing Tang Liu eating grilled sausage and walking back to the team, Flanders continued, yes, the effect of Oscar's soul skills is very good for you. I let you eat it to allow you to adapt to the training. I ask you, is life more important or face more important? When you can only choose one of the two, which one will you choose? Moreover, this is also to cultivate a tacit understanding between you. If you cannot cooperate well with him, this will be a waste of his good supporting partner. And if you can't even do this, how will you survive in the Soul Master world in the future? In order to survive, you must do whatever it takes. Let alone eating a sausage, when your life is in crisis, even rats, cockroaches, and earthworms will be eaten. Friend's last words undoubtedly caused tons of real harm to the 3 girls present. You must do this lesson, otherwise you are not worthy of staying in our Shrek Academy. You must remember at all times that our Shrek Academy trains monsters, not ordinary people. The few of you, except Tang Liu, who comes first, Flanders said decisively, regardless of whether the girls were about to vomit. Oscar also smiled obscenely at this time, and then recited the soul-moving spell to create sausages and sausages. I come. Just when everyone was hesitating, Ning Rongrong walked out first, took the 2 sausages from Oscar's hand, then put them in his mouth and took a bite. That vicious look really startled Oscar, and he felt a chill somewhere. Tang Liu on the side showed a meaningful smile. Your sausage feels pretty good when you bite it off in one bite. Ning Rongrong finished eating the sausage and said with a smile. Oscar felt something tighten again, and then continued making sausages without stopping. After that came Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun, and then Tang San walked out. Brother, feel free to eat it. If it doesn't taste good, it's my fault. Tang Liu said with a wicked smile. Tang San glanced at him helplessly, and then ate Oscar's sausage with some trembling in his heart. After Tang San is Xiao Wu, and finally Zhu Zhuqing. Chapter 58 Heading to the Star Forest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. However, Zhu Zhuqing was the most hesitant among them. Zhu Zhuqing, if you want to defeat Dai Mubai one day and trample him under your feet, don't hesitate now. Flanders suddenly spoke up at this time. Zhu Zhuqing was stunned, while Dai Mubai smiled bitterly. Flanders looked at Zhu Zhuqing with deep eyes and nodded to her. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes instantly became firm, and without hesitation, he ate the sausage made by Oscar in a few seconds. Dai Mubai was a little distracted and said with a wry smile, You really want to defeat me? Zhu Zhuqing glared at him fiercely while chewing the sausage, and didn't have much to say. Flanders nodded with satisfaction. And said, All of you have passed, and you must remember that when you are together in the future, Oscar will be your logistical supply. Forget those meaningless soul curses, save your lives. The most important thing is to make yourself stronger and exert your full strength, even to a super level. Now, each of you go back to prepare and give you a day to rest and adjust. Tomorrow morning, we will all set off. Teacher Zhao Wuji will lead you to the Star Dou Forest to help Oscar obtain his 3rd soul ring. This is not Oscar's fault alone, but also the experience of all of you. Before encountering the 1,000-year soul beast, Teacher Zhao will not take action easily. Everything depends on you. Okay, let's disband now. After returning to the dormitory, Tang San and Tang Liu both started practicing. Tang San might have been a little stimulated by Oscar's entry into level 30, and wanted to get his 3rd spirit ring quickly. As for Tang Liu, it was all a matter of sudden interest. After all, his soul power has now begun to compress for the 3rd time, and his cultivation speed is not much faster, so there is no rush. What's more, he is now a soul sect. However, every time he practiced, little Funi would quietly crawl out from his clothes, crawl on his knees, and start practicing with his eyes closed. When little Forney was practicing, Tang Liu's body would emit some blue-black light spots from time to time, and as little Forney breathed, they slowly merged into its body. This is why Xiao Funi said that by following Tang Liu, it would be able to quickly break through the 200,000-year bottleneck, since Tang Liu also mentioned the Star Dou Forest. When he told Tang San a story before, Tang San didn't ask again like in the original work. Another day passed. After breakfast, when a group of students arrived at the playground, they found that Zhao Wuji was already standing there waiting for them. However, when they saw Zhao Wuji, all the students wanted to laugh, but they did not dare to laugh. Of course, Tang Liu, who knew the truth, laughed unceremoniously. Not giving Zhao Wuji any face, Zhao Wuji glared at Tang Liu with a panda face, and said angrily, "Why are you laughing? What's so funny? Didn't I just fall and fall a little hard?" That he was embarrassed to tell the fact that he was beaten by Tang Hao, and he did not dare to say it. Yes, you fell. I'm not laughing at you, I just want to laugh." Tang Liu paid no attention to the weird look in the other people's eyes and said to himself. In the end, Tang San couldn't stand it anymore and touched him, which made him stop laughing. Zhao Wuji glanced at Tang Liu depressedly, and then said, "Okay, everyone is on the way. Mubai, you will lead the team." Dai Mubai nodded and said sternly, "The Star Dou Forest is not a place for fun. There are many soul beasts there, and they are extremely aggressive. They don't like us humans at all. We must be careful when dealing with them. Don't be careless in the slightest. Tang San, you go to the front. Oscar, Tang Liu, Ning Rongrong, the three of you follow Tang San. Fatty, Xiao Wu, you two are on the left and right, and Zhu Zhuqing and I are at the back. After entering the forest, you must maintain this formation and be alert at all times. That's it, let's go." After Dai Mubai made the arrangements, he led everyone and ran out of the academy, while Zhao Wuji stood aside and watched coldly, with no intention of intervening. Along the way, thanks to Oscar's supply of sausages, everyone's energy remained high even though they were running fast. Finally, everyone arrived at a small town, and Zhao Wuji also ordered to stop advancing at this time, preparing to rest here for a night before continuing to the Star Forest. After finding the hotel and checking in, the few of them were ready to have lunch. Zhao Wuji, on the other hand, returned to the room alone and had no intention of participating. This is also one of the rules of Shrek Academy. Teachers will not accept any benefits from students coming to this place again. Tang Liu was obviously sighing, because when he came to get the second soul ring, it was because he had never been able to find a suitable soul ring, and he and Tang Hao had lived here on and off for a while, so he felt a little nostalgic. The continent-wide Advanced Soul Master Academy Soul Fighting Competition. Hurry up and start. The first floor of the hotel was the restaurant. Everyone found an empty table. After taking their seats, Ma Hongjun called the waiter to order. Although 8 people sat at one table, the atmosphere was not harmonious. It is probably because people are not that familiar with it yet. This is normal. They are all calculated, and they have only known each other for about 4 days. It was at this time that Tang Liu, who had been paying attention to the door of the hotel, spotted the Tsanhui Academy group walking in. After seeing them, Ma Hongjuan's eyes fell on the only female student, and then he and Dai Mubai began to discuss without concealment. Tang Liu couldn't help laughing. Then, just like the original work, the people from Tsanhui College came to look for trouble, but Tang San and Dai Mubai showed off their faces respectively. Is it mediocre to dare not cause trouble? Tang Liu suddenly felt a little itchy in his heart. It is a kind of slight change in human nature that has been living in a strict rule system, but suddenly one day it is basically completely freed from that restraint, and it also has the power that I only dared to think about before. Throbbing, I don't know what kind of mentality it is out of. Maybe it's a bit fun, maybe it's just a little curious, maybe it's intentional, or it's just a simple slip of the hand, and the brain suddenly cramps. In short, Tang Liu took action. Green flame patterns appeared around his left eye. The psychedelic gaze shrouded everyone in Tsanhui Academy at the same time. The crushing Soul Emperor level mental power caused everyone in Tsanhui College, except the leading teacher and the female student, to fall into a fantasy. Chapter 59. Tang Liu is covered by someone. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. A smile that was not bad and good-natured suddenly appeared on the corner of Tang Liu's mouth. Actually, you are all pigs. A word slowly floated out of his mouth. The next moment, the 6 people who had been attacked immediately fell to the ground on all fours, making humming sounds from their mouths. Just when everyone in the restaurant was surprised and confused, the students from Tsanhui Academy suddenly screamed and bumped around like frightened pigs. Tang Liu laughed, and then lifted the illusion spells on those people. As soon as the illusion was lifted, those people stopped shouting and bumping around. They all sat on the ground with dull eyes and doubts about life. I'm not a pig. Yes, I am a human. How can I be a pig? Similar words kept coming out of their mouths, making people around them look at them like they were crazy. Seeing the restaurant owner leading his men to clean up the tables and chairs knocked over by those Tsanhui Academy people, Tang Liu suddenly felt a little apologetic in his heart. Ordinary people should not be involved. After all, he is not a pampered child, but an orphan who has suffered a lot. Although the illusion was lifted, it was not easy for the students to recover for a while, and their eyes were still a little dull. After the leading teacher of Tsanhui Academy arranged for his students to be sent to the meeting room, he walked straight towards Shrek's group. My students suddenly became like that just now. Was it you who did it? Yi Zhiqiu said in a cold voice with a gloomy face. Oh, are you blind? We didn't even touch your students. If they go crazy, what does that have to do with us? Dai Mubai, the oldest among the crowd, naturally stood up and said, moreover, he told the truth. They were about to start a fight with Tsanhui Academy, but they had to stop because of Tang Liu's intervention. My students became like that just now because someone used illusion-type soul skills. And among all the people present, you are the only ones who are still soul masters. Yi Zhiqiu said in a deep voice, with a chill in his eyes. Dai Mubai was about to refute him, but was interrupted by Tang Liu, who suddenly spoke up. Brother Bai, there's no need to argue with him. Tang Liu stood up and looked at Yi Zhiqiu. Although with his height, he now needs to look up to Yi Zhiqiu. The aura exuding from him is uncompromising. Xiao Lu. Tang San looked at him with some confusion. Tang Liu gave him a reassuring look, then looked at Yi Zhiqiu again, and said in a deep voice, you are right, those students of yours will go crazy precisely because they were exposed to illusionary soul skills. And that illusion soul skill is I put it. Hearing this, the Shrek 7 devils were all surprised. Xiao Lu, you said it was you who made them look like that just now. Xiao Wu said in surprise. Tang Liu nodded, then turned to look at the innkeeper who was standing aside and looking at them nervously, and said, I'm sorry, boss, for causing you losses. I will give you some storage soul guides later. It's given to you as compensation. Ah. The hotel owner obviously didn't expect that he would be mentioned by Tang Liu, and Tang Liu also said that he would pay him such a large amount of compensation, so he was stunned for a moment. Let's go. If you want to ask for an explanation, just go out and talk. Don't disturb other people's business here. Tang Liu said to Yi Zhiqiu calmly, and then looked at the 7 monsters. Everyone, I caused this. Just handle it yourself, you don't need to interfere. He looked at Yi Zhiqiu again, raised his chin, and then walked outside first, but before he could take 2 steps, he was stopped by a hand. Tang Liu looked at Tang San, who was holding him. At this time, Tang San frowned, looking a little sulky. Look what you said. I am your brother, your business is my business, why don't you let me intervene? Moreover, even if it is your fault, it is me, the brother, who will help you deal with it first. Wait. Otherwise, if something happens to you, how should I explain to my father? By doing this, are you not taking my brother seriously? As he said this, he had already come to stand next to Tang Liu. Looking at it has also fallen on Yi Zhiqiu. That's right, Xiao Lu, you're talking as if we are outsiders. I tell you, this matter is indispensable to me, don't leave me. Besides, isn't it just a trivial matter? Sister Xiao Wu resisted for you. Xiao Wu also came over and stood beside Tang San, with a look of indignation. That's right, Xiao Lu, you are already my brother. If anything happens, of course my brothers will help you carry it. Remember, we are here to protect you. If anyone dares to bully you, we will beat them up. Then, Dai Mubai also walked over and stood in front of several people, looking at Yi Zhiqiu warily. Yes, Xiaolu, we are covering you. Ma Hongjun also walked over with a smile. Yes, with my supply of sausages, it won't be a problem to fight him for 3 days and 3 nights. Oscar came behind Tang San, although Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing did not speak, they came to stand beside Tang Liu and faced Yi Zhiqiu, looking at the Shrek 7 monsters around him who looked either firm, concerned, or silent, but without exception they all had strong confidence and cohesion. Tang Liu suddenly laughed. Okay, then let's beat up this old bastard who's dragging as much as 258,000 yuan. Tang Liu looked at Yi Zhiqiu's ugly face with a smile, and breathed out fragrance in an extremely calm manner. The slow speaking speed and the extremely beautiful face made people feel a sense of elegance for a while. Okay, you guys are very good. Yi Zhiqiu looked as ugly as if his parents had died. I want to see what you are capable of. After saying that, he snorted coldly, turned around and walked towards the outside of the hotel. Let's go, brothers and sisters, go kill this turtle grandson. Dai Mubai shouted first, and then led everyone outside. Ma Hongjun and Oscar echoed, making Yi Zhiqiu in front very angry. Come on, let me teach your teacher a lesson for you guys who don't know the heights of the world. Yi Zhiqiu couldn't wait to say as soon as he got outside. Everyone, activate the martial spirit. Dai Mubai shouted, and then released the martial spirit. White Tiger, possessed, with his loud shout, 2 yellow and 1 purple soul rings rose, and at the same time, his entire figure also expanded again. Immediately afterwards, Tang San, Xiao Wu, Ma Hongjun and Zhu Zhuqing also released their martial spirits, except for Dai Mubai. Everyone else had 2 yellow soul rings, which made Yi Zhiqiu's pupils shrink. He can naturally tell the age of the 7 monsters, so he is surprised now, but soon, his heart was filled with disbelief. Impossible. Chapter 60, The Control of Virtual Spirits Ignores Defense. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. He exclaimed, looking horrified. Seeing his appearance, the 7 monsters couldn't help but sneer. Nothing is impossible. Tang Liu raised his left hand, with 3 yellow, purple, and black soul rings surrounding him. The reason why you think it is impossible is because your vision is too narrow. As soon as he finished speaking, the second soul ring on his body lit up, the figures of Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing disappeared quietly. Yi Zhiqiu's breathing was heavy, his eyes were dull, and all he could see was the black soul ring on Tang Liu's body. 10,000 years, it is actually a 10,000-year soul ring. Why can a mere soul master possess a 10,000-year soul ring? Moreover, this soul lord is only about 10 years old. At this moment, Yi Zhiqiu was completely suffocated by Tang Liu's soul ring, so sluggish that he even forgot to release his martial soul, but at this moment, a sense of danger suddenly arose in his heart. After all, he is a soul king, so he also released his martial soul the moment the warning sign appeared. A huge turtle shell suddenly appeared on his back, and immediately, a total of 5 soul rings, 1 white, 2 yellow, and 2 purple, slowly rose from his feet. At this time, Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing appeared almost at the same time. Xiao Wu now stepped on the turtle shell on Yi Zhiqiu's back, while Zhu Zhuqing activated the Netherworld 100 claws directly in front. Sparks kept blooming in Yi Zhiqiu's chest, but they couldn't hurt him at all. Seeing that the attack was blocked, Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing quickly retreated and stood aside quietly waiting for the opportunity. After receiving the attack, Yi Zhiqiu also came to his senses. Although he was still horrified when he looked at Tang Liu, it was much better than the previous state of sluggishness, but the 7 monsters obviously didn't intend to give him a chance to breathe, and attacks came one after another. First, Tang San used entanglement on Yi Zhiqiu, first restricting his movements, in order to prevent Tang San's blue-silver grass from being frozen by Yi Zhiqiu's black tortoise spirit. Tang Liu also added a void spirit control to Tang San. Also taking action with Tang San were Dai Mubai and Ma Hongjun. White tiger fierce light waves and phoenix fire wires spewed towards Yi Zhiqiu's head at the same time. At this time, Oscar also made a batch of recovery sausages and handed them to the people who were currently attacking. Yi Zhiqiu was restrained and did not panic. He actually put his head into the turtle shell behind him, thus avoiding the white tiger's fierce light wave and the phoenix's line of fire. Huh, you're a turtle. Tang Liu sneered, and then attached the void spirit control to Zhu Zhuqing. Zhuqing, now you try to attack him again. Zhu Zhuqing just glanced at the vines on his arms, then launched the netherworld thrust, and arrived in front of Yi Zhiqiu in the blink of an eye, and then used his second soul skill, Netherworld 100 Claws. Surprisingly, this time, Yi Zhiqiu's extremely hard turtle shell was like a decoration and could not stop Zhu Zhuqing's attack at all, because Zhu Zhuqing's Netherworld 100 Claws directly passed through his turtle shell and acted on his being. Caught off guard, Yi Zhiqiu endured Zhu Zhuqing's blow forcefully and screamed in agony. Ma Hongjuan's eyes lit up and he quickly said to Tang Liu, "Xiao Lu, hurry up and get one for me." Tang Liu smiled slightly, "Don't worry, everyone has a share." As soon as he finished speaking, his first soul ring shone again, but this time the ethereal control fell on Ma Hongjun. Ma Hongjun smirked, and then released the first soul skill, Phoenix Fire Wire. Purple-red flames spurted out and came to Yi Zhiqiu in the blink of an eye, then passed through his turtle shell and burned directly on his body. Yi Zhiqiu's screams hadn't stopped yet, but there was another wave. "Xiao Lu, let me try too." Dai Mubai also felt a little jealous and said quickly, however, this time he failed, because Zhao Wuji suddenly jumped down from upstairs, stood in front of them and said, "Okay, enough fun, now go back to sleep." "Teacher Zhao, I haven't even started yet, have you had enough fun?" Dai Mubai said with some dissatisfaction. Zhao Wuji glared at him, "Are you the teacher or am I the teacher? Go back to bed immediately. Tang Liu, you stay." When Zhu Zhuqing heard this, he turned around and walked to a few people, except for Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing. The others looked at each other and then shrugged at the same time. "Then let's go and go back to sleep." Let's go to sleep." "Hey, we haven't finished eating yet. We can't waste food. Xiao Lu, come back as soon as the matter is settled." "I know, you go up first, don't worry about me." Everyone has dispersed. After saying goodbye, Tang Liu walked to Zhao Wuji and said, "Teacher Zhao, what do you want from me?" Zhao Wuji glanced at him helplessly and said, "You little guy, you feel good about beating people now, but your soul ring has also been exposed, what should you do? Aren't you afraid that this bastard will tell the Wuhuan Palace?" Ah! Hearing this, Tang Liu couldn't help but be stunned. In a flash, he thought about a lot of things, so he lowered his voice. "Did my father tell you to be careful about others seeing my soul ring?" Zhao Wuji nodded helplessly. "Now your soul ring has been seen by so many people. There are many people with mixed eyes, so there is no guarantee that it will not reach the ears of Wuhuan Hall. If you don't have a solution, I can only press your father asked you to go find him." "Hey, I didn't expect that the old man still cares about me." After hearing this, Tang Liu's first reaction was this, and then he said, "Teacher Zhao, don't worry, I have a solution. In the meantime, has anyone left the hotel?" "No, I've been paying attention. Most of the people in the restaurant were watching you fight. Not only did no one leave, but many even came down and are still staying in the restaurant." Zhao Wuji replied. "Is there a soul master here? Is there anyone watching through the window?" "No, those from Sanhui College are in their own rooms, and no one is watching through the windows." "Then things will be easy. You help me beat this bastard half to death first. I'll deal with the ordinary people first, and then I'll deal with him." After Tang Liu finished speaking, he ran towards the restaurant. At this time, Yi Zhiqiu finally recovered from the pain, and his head emerged from the turtle shell, his expression twisted. "You bastards, I'm going to make you look good." He yelled. Zhao Wuji curled his lips in disdain and walked towards Yi Zhiqiu. "Is it just you, an old bastard? I'll give you a chance. I don't need a martial spirit. As long as you can hold on to a stick of incense under my hand, forget it." Then Yi Zhiqiu's scream sounded outside the hotel again.